We decided to create an underground city because we wanted people to be safe. Not everyone would die in the disaster. We put instructions in a metal box that had a timer for 200 years. The instructions were written so the residents in the city of Ember would find a way out. I was so nervous about picking the job I didn't want. When I heard my name, fear was the first thing that came over me. Clenching my fists so hard, my knuckles turned white. I was hoping I would get the job I wanted as I pulled it out of the bag. Staring at my hand, the assignment in it, I felt the frustration throughout my body. I was now a messenger.
I sluggishly walked into the school tardy for assignment day. I had the chief guard get the book of Ember. The students and I read the Ember Pledge with pleasure. Then I got out the strips of paper for the jobs and the small, faded red cloth bag. I felt fury overcome me. Great. I had more people to deal with in the city of Ember. I am only here because I have to be.
I reached into the bag with jobs in it and pulled out the job messenger. I was so furious I couldn't hold it in any longer. I crumbled up the little slip and threw it on the floor. After the mayor yelled at me because of my behavior, I kicked the crumbled up paper into the corner. I tried to trade with Chet, but he wouldn't give up his job. I was so irritated, I didn't know what to do. But then I thought about Lena to have one last hope, and that was that Lena would trade.
I was very frantic and scared when I lost Poppy at Looper's shop. I looked everywhere, desperately feeling my way as I went. It was a long blackout, and I was worried that Poppy would get hurt. She's my only family. I started feeling the walls and walking around trying to find Poppy. But when the lights came back on, I was relieved to find Dune heading towards me with Poppy. I missed her so much that he gave her a big hug and kissed her on the cheek.
I was walking with Lena in the pipeworks to see the secret door that I had found, and I noticed a man in a black cloak and a black hat. We ducked behind a rock to hide. The strange man walked slowly into the secret door in the wall. We didn't hear anything until the man came out and walked away quickly with a limp that I thought I knew from somewhere, but I just couldn't think of it.
I slept restlessly that night because I was worried about Granny. When the lights came on, I went to wake her up. Her forehead was burning and her hands were chilled. I was worried and afraid. I ran to get Mrs. Murdo. I kept Granny company all day. Soon she asked if we ever found the lost thing, and I told her we did. I went to bed that night, and when the clock tower struck 6, I went to Granny's room to find that all the life had left her. I was heartbroken. I had no idea where we would live now.
I was so shocked that Lizzie was taking food from Looper, who was stealing it off the shelves in the supply depot. I couldn't believe Lizzie, a smart young lady, would be stealing some of the rarest supplies in Ember. She even offered me some of the food that Looper was stealing, which was even more disappointing. But I said no, because it wouldn't be fair to the other people, and I don't want to have the feeling of want all the time.
It started out that Looper was stealing things from the supply room. He took the rare things for himself, while also giving me some too. I was walking home joyful to take the stuff like peaches, pineapple, and cream corn there. But I was embarrassed I got caught by Lena, and she said that I was practically stealing. Then she said I could turn it in, but I had a bright idea. I was scared that I got caught. I told her I could tell Looper to take stuff for her too. She promised not to tell. Lena said that she didn't want to steal stuff, and she won't turn me in. I couldn't believe my luck. I felt relieved.
As I slowly opened the door and I saw something that made my heart stop. I saw the mayor asleep on a chair with a plate of food next to him. There were a bunch of supplies in the room like light bulbs, canned goods, and wood. How could the mayor live like this when the people of Ember need it most? I was frustrated at what I saw back there. I'd have to tell Lena what happened.
When we found the tunnel, it was so exciting. We found the way out when nobody else did. When I looked over the ledge and saw the water fall, I was so proud that I was the only one who found it. It was such a beautiful sight. Then I thought that I could go down and see where the tunnel leads. I hope it leads to a new city or somewhere safe.
When there was a sign that read, "Caved in, no entry," I entered anyway. I ducked under the sign and walked in. I didn't think there was a cave in, but it was dark. When I was walking, something blocked the way. It's not a cave in for sure because it's so smooth. Next, I found the handle. That had to be a door, but it was locked. I looked around but didn't see anything. I wonder if anyone was getting in this door.
We were walking in the cave. I was terrified. It was dark. I couldn't see where I was going. Jim found 2 boxes and an object that had a word on it. He pulled the boxes out. I had mixed emotions. I had no idea what could be in there. It had words on it. I was curious. The next one had words too. I was puzzled this time. Then we opened it. I was scared. One of the boxes was filled with long wooden sticks with a blue piece at the end. I wanted to know what it did. The next one was filled with long sticks. It felt weird and had a string at the end. I wanted to see what it did too. I was insensitive.
It was beautiful, seeing this green worm turn into a magnificent flying creature, a moth. It was kind of emotional letting him go and seeing him fly. Also, it was weird that it went into a blanket, a green worm, and came out a moth. It was all worth it in the end, because after seeing this creature, a live creature, it made me think, is there other life beyond Ember? This thought made me sort of excited that there could be other life.
Dune and I are hiding from the guards. I felt terrified when I found out we were wanted for spreading vicious rumors. Dune and I are sitting in our old desk. It seemed like we'd been away forever. Then I felt my desk, and the bee that I carved was still there. I had to get the letter to Clary. I ran through the halls to the back door. I felt worried when I was running in the hall. I hope the guards don't see me.
I saw the guards start to chase Lena. I could only imagine how scared Lena would be right now. Would she be caught? She's way faster than their guards. But still, what if she does get caught? My heart sank at the thought of her not coming back. Will I be able to help her? I need to stop panicking. She will find a way to escape. I know her. She won't go down without a fight.
I started chasing Lena. I'm chasing her because she's wanted. We got to catch her now. If not, we're going to be dead because the mayor wants her since she's telling lies about him. My partner's running the other direction. She went into the library. I yelled. I went in, so did my partner. Then we trapped her in the court. Where is she? I yelled during the blackout. She must have ran away, I said. I failed to watch Lena. Now I'm going to get fired. This makes me sad.
All I was doing was taking the note to Clary. Then all of a sudden, the guards saw me. I sprinted as fast as I could. I tried to hide, but they saw me. So I ran to the library door. I felt so terrified. I yanked it. It wouldn't open. The library was closed. I felt hopeless. I might not get the note to Clary. I stood there hoping the guards would pass, but they didn't. They found me. The guards grabbed my arms and took me to town hall. I was frightened that I would never see Poppy, my only family, ever again.
I was caught by the guards because they said I was spreading vicious rumors, but I really was telling the truth. They still took me to Gathering Hall to talk to the mayor. I sat there frightened of it because what could happen to me? I could go to the prison room. As I sat there, but still I was furious as the mayor. The guards had been working with him all along. I knew I shouldn't have told them. Then all of a sudden the power went out. I knew it was the right time for me to make a run for it, so I ran.
As we head down the river, it's cold and damp. I'm holding on to Poppy with dear life so she won't fall out. The boat is swaying back and forth, and I was frightened to death. We stuck candles into the sides of the boat so we can see what's ahead. Then the candles go out by the water. The water is getting fierce and making us bounce up and down. We were terrified. Then the water started to calm. We get overjoyed when we see a cave up ahead. We get out of the boat and wander into the cave.
As soon as I untied the rope from the peg, the boat shot forward and about knocked me over. I was terrified. As the boat dipped and dived, water was going everywhere. I kept sliding into Lena. Once we went through the tunnel, I felt relieved that the rapids had slowed. We were still in complete darkness, and Poppy began to cry. So I lit 3 candles. Lena and Poppy started to calm down. What will the future bring? Will Lena, Poppy, and I get out of the river alive? What else will Lena and I have to face?
It had been 3 hours since we left the city. We had been going in zigzags up the mountain. When I looked down, I saw car tracks. Why would there be car tracks in here? I was getting bored. We had been walking for hours. I was also starting to get hungry. We had burned through 3 candles. I think we were all exhausted. Finally, we saw the end of the tunnel. I wonder what the new world will be like. I was excited and happy for finding the book on the ground. If June wouldn't have found the candles and the matches, we wouldn't be able to see anything. Luckily, he figured out what they were. That green book probably holds everything about the city of Ember. Yeah, I'm excited to read it. Maybe it tells us the instructions to the path that leads us to the new world.
We had now arrived at a zigzag path. With Poppy in my hands, I put her down at my heels. Dune then looked at me. He was talking on and on, but I was starting to walk. Then he asked me if I gave the note to Clary. A layer of panic and frustration came over me as I reached into my pocket and felt the note. Dune must have noticed because he repeated his question, but a million thoughts came rushing into my head. I was so ashamed when I had to shake my head no. I knew I had just ruined everything for the people of Ember.
It was cold and damp in the cave. When I tried to inhale, it felt like I was trying to breathe in water. As we turned the corner, a warm, sweet breeze hit me. I asked Dune if he felt it. He nodded. He asked if I smelled that. The smell was warm and cozy. As we walked a little farther, I saw a light. Dune looked at me, and I heard Poppy giggle. I then realized that this was the new world.
The gigantic lantern was so bright that it gave enough light to see. I looked up a little at the twinkling lights and felt joyful that I got to see this. Lena, with her mouth open, was looking up in awe. The light started to go away and the lantern went over the horizon. We were really gloomy when the lantern and lights went away because we thought we might not get to see them again.
When we got done with the long, tiring hike, I saw a big lantern in the huge, dark blue sky. At least I thought it was a lantern. I don't know what else it could be. It was surrounded by lots of tiny lanterns. It was incredible. After a while, it was starting to move down towards the ground. When the white lantern left, a beautiful orange, yellow, and fiery red lantern came and took its place in the now clear blue sky. I've never seen anything so spectacular in my life. I knew that the new world was going to be a great place, after all.
When I read this journal, I was shocked. It tells me that scientists wanted to make sure this sum of mankind would survive a disaster. They decided to bring people to Ember so that they could ensure that people would be safe. It was suspenseful and bewildering after I read page after page. I'm thankful that I now know about Ember's history. I felt surprised because I didn't know all that we were taught about where we were from was a lie.
Lena and I heard a crumbling sound. Is it someone from Ember? It came over the hill. Me and Lena held our breaths, terrified. It was beautiful. It had pointy ears and luscious fur, and orangish red fur. At the chest down to its belly, it had white on the tip of its ears and tails. I don't know what it was, but it was beautiful. It even looked at me. It picked something up and walked off in the bushes. Hope I can see one of those things again.
I first saw a creature eating some kind of fruit. If that creature can eat it, why can't I? I took one and cut it open. Red juices flowed out. I tasted it. It was delicious. We all had a feast that night. That was the best thing I had ever tasted.
When I saw Ember, I was so excited. I felt relieved when I remembered I had the note, but mad because I forgot to give it to Clary. How could I have been so irresponsible and not remember to give the note to her? But I had an idea that could save the city. I'd write a note and put it in through the crack of the cave. Felt like a boulder had been lifted off my shoulders. I was so relieved when I dropped the note down to Ember. It felt good to know that the city was saved.